Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 34 of the In From Japan podcast, the podcast where we talk about the latest news on Japan-developed games and other things in relation to them, available on Spotify, Podbean, and YouTube. As always, I'm your host, Erroll, and with me is my co-host, the phenomenon from Suriname, Jason Corder.
Hey, everyone.
And we're going to start, like we always do, with the games we've been playing. And I haven't really been playing anything new in terms of Japanese game. Still on that Final Fantasy XIV grind. I finished Heavensward, so now I'm in the Heavensward post game.
Okay,
which
nice.
is a lot better than the Realm Reborn post game, because you're not delivering tea to people across the street as a level 50 paladin. You're actually, doing stuff, and there's a bunch of setup and like actual story, and there's stuff with like dragons and warriors of darkness, and that's spoilers. I'll bleep that out.
It's fine. So they're actually building on top of the plot.
Yeah, because at the end of Heavensward, there's a thing that happens to one of my favorite characters that I'm sad about.
Okay. I think I can guess.
No, it's not what you. Not exactly.
I mean, my brother played all of Final Fantasy XIV before I did, so I've seen some.
Oh,
things.
okay. I thought you meant like. Oh, okay. And then I've been playing a little more of the Fairy Tail game. Not really. My impressions are kind of the same. I unlocked. Did I unlock? I think a while back I unlocked my favorite character, Gajiel, and I've just been playing as him.
How does it stack up to what you've read from the manga or what you've seen from the anime? Is it
like it skips some stuff like
no, but is it like a good extension of what you've experienced or consumed, or is it something that
it's okay,
falls short of the expectations set up by the other media?
It's okay.
You don't sound too warm on it.
No, it just misses a lot of the detail.
Details like what?
Just like, how there will be like summaries for certain arcs in the past, and then some fights it won't show, and then some fights it does show, and then some model, like some character models are kind of missing, and right now, like I said, my favorite character, Gajiel, he has the certain form, and I haven't tried it in battle yet, but in the battle where he gets that form, they don't make it look the way it's supposed to.
So it's kind of like the greatest hits of the Fairy Tail manga, and with regards to character models, it's also the greatest hits of certain character models without much thought of continuity.
Yeah. I mean, maybe some of it is like budget stuff, or
it could be, or I think it was Tomorrow's article from GameSpot that said that licensed game are usually made for the most common denominator. Like they want to have something that's more or less I don't want to say a cash cow or a cash grab, but something that's accessible and something that will hit the most basic of levels instead of striving for something bigger. If you get what I mean. Yeah, so kind of bummed. I'm still interested in trying it out. I'm still
it's
reading
still good.
manga.
It's still very well done. It's just like a little disappointing, but it's like they didn't have the highest budget for this. It's like, but I feel like, it's good enough that if they made a sequel, I think it could be like really good. Once they have like a bit of a higher budget, like, because they don't need to do all that. I mean, they still need to do a lot, but they don't need to do as much as you would think to improve the game. You know what I mean?
But do we know if they had a lower budget?
I mean, it seems like it.
I mean, that'd be just speculation, right?
True, but I don't think Gust isn't known for like that high budget. Although Ryza 2 looks pretty nice, so I don't know. It could be fair. This game was more testing the waters of trying something new with the property. I don't know.
It could be. If I had to nitpick, because I've seen a lot of reviews on the Fairy Tail game, and I've seen a lot of the game's visuals. If I had to nitpick one thing, is that the shading of the characters is not well done, because the shadows on the body seem very static, and they're not as dynamic as you would think. Because when a panel, when a character moves, when a character moves from panel to panel, they don't retain the same level of shading. Yeah, because that messes with the illusion of
there is one. I know. Go on. There is one art thing that I remembered that I didn't like. So
that'd be my only nitpick, and I don't know how much I could stomach that for the whole game. So
this one character, Sting, they made his face. They kind of messed up his face, and it's supposed to be like it's supposed to look kind of like a grin, like a an anime character like grin, like it's time to fight, with like the angry eyebrows. But for some reason, with Sting's like face, they made it like turned it out more creepy looking. Like they messed it up a little bit, or it just didn't translate that well to the 3D model, and it's just really weird. That's the one thing, and it just like doesn't.
I chalk it up to the shading probably.
It's pretty funny.
Even in a different lighting, anything can be turned creepy.
True. So, I don't think it's the lighting though. I think it's more the way, just the way they drew it was not quite like it didn't translate as well as I thought it did. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh well. Anything else you've been playing then? More Ninjala mayhaps?
No, I haven't played Ninjala because I don't have the best internet situation. I wish that, because we have a news story about that later, so maybe at some point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I've been playing non-Japanese games that I would talk about on a different podcast if we had a different podcast.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the guys at IndiePod talked about that game.
Okay. Well, let's see. Are you done with your games?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I haven't been playing that much because I've had a very busy work week. A lot of stuff I had to do.
I feel like you say that every week.
Well, that's the reality of having a 9 to 5 and having video games be your side project. So, the realities of adult responsibilities.
I mean, even when you're writing about games, you're not always playing them because you're spending time talking or writing about them.
Sure, but even still,
but then in addition to that, like you got a completely separate thing. Yeah.
I have my job. I have the website where I edit for. I have the podcast, and then every other thing within my personal life. So I don't really have that much budget, like time budget for video games as I did in the past. But I did play one thing. Which is Chrono Trigger for Android, or the Android port of Chrono Trigger. This is kind of ridiculous because usually when I play Chrono Trigger, I get up to, I don't know, like a full party and then stop because reasons. This time I stopped not even that far into the game because, well, I traveled back into the past like for the first time and then stopped because I just couldn't get across how well I can stomach the controls for Android. It's a touch interface joystick, and Chrono Trigger was made for the SNES, so they had a D-pad to control the characters, and a joystick doesn't really translate that well for digital movements like up, down, left, right. And and it just got in the way of my enjoyment, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of secretly wanting to. No, not secretly. Now that I'm mentioning it, now
Secretly.
I kind of want to buy it for PC now, for Steam.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Yeah, because I can just hook up my PlayStation controller or my keyboard if need be, and I'd have a much better time controlling the characters. Because despite the pixels, the music, the gameplay being top notch on mobile, the controls are just such a hindrance. And
Yeah.
if you're gonna play it on mobile, maybe get a controller. But at that point,
Yeah. Does it
just
support? Does it have? Yeah.
does it have controller support? I think so, but at that point, it becomes too much of a financial investment.
Yeah.
To
If you already have one, it's like, yeah, okay.
Sure, but if you have access to a PC or maybe a DS or what have you, play it on those things, not on mobile, because that ain't it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been all I've been playing this week.
Oh, no Atelier Riser?
I wish, I just didn't have the time.
Alright. So next is our In From Japan J-List, where we're talking about recent video game related entertainment news. And we have 4 stories. Should I I know this is 34 episodes in, but should I say how many stories we have in this section?
It can help.
Not in the main section, but just in this section.
It can help.
The main section fluctuates.
I mean, you can also leave it to be a surprise for the listeners.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. I don't know why. I just for some reason I just said that.
Keep the suspense going.
The first story we have on the J list is the Dragon's Dogma anime prepares for battle in its first trailer. This is by Josh Tolentino over at Silicon Era. It's almost September, which leaves just a few weeks until it's time for Netflix to begin airing its Dragon's Dogma anime. I still need to play that game. The CG animated series, based on Capcom's sleeper hit action RPG, is being adapted by Japanese production studio Sublimation Incorporated, and the show's first trailer was dropped on Twitter. The trailer opens with a brief description of the Dragon's Dogma anime premise, which follows the games fairly closely. The protagonist, named Ethan, based on Netflix placeholder pages for the show revealed in July 2020, loses his heart to the titular dragon. The attack also costs Ethan his family, and naturally this triggers a quest for vengeance as well as retrieving his stolen heart. As in the game, the Dragon's Dogma anime trailer also shows Ethan being extorted by the dragon itself. It awaits Ethan in its lair for reasons unrevealed. Ethan also engages one of the game's key features, its pawn system. In the game, pawns served as AI companions that were highly customizable. Pawns could be leveled up, equipped, and filled out the Arisen's party. Players could hire the pawns of other players online, and those pawns would learn from their journeys with their temporary masters. Playing the game, it wasn't uncommon to see your own pawn return with new equipment, capabilities, or even game knowledge after a few sessions with strangers. In the Dragon's Dogma anime, Ethan summons a young woman pawn from a riftstone. He names his new bow-wielding partner Hannah after his mother. Unfortunately, Hannah is not given enough airtime in the trailer to remind the Arisen that wolves hunt in packs. Dragon's Dogma anime will air on Netflix globally on September 17, 2020. Have you seen this trailer?
Yeah, I have. Still haven't played the game, if that's what you're also wondering. I've seen mixed feelings about this CG style of animation.
It's better than Berserk, so yeah. But some people, I saw some people saying, "Oh, this is just as bad as Berserk," and I'm like, that's an exaggeration.
No,
if you're talking about the most recent Berserk anime series, if you're talking about the CG movies that came out a while back, those didn't ever look that bad.
No, I'd say it's far better than the Berserk animated series we had a couple of years back. So,
but I do see I do wish it was animated a little closer to like how Castlevania is. I think that style would work.
You mean like a straight animated, traditionally animated, hand-drawn animated one?
Because this is not what I was expecting.
I
mean, not that it's going to be bad or anything. It's just like
maybe
it's just a preference.
They wanted. Yeah, I get that, but maybe they wanted to differentiate it enough from Castlevania so that people won't say, "Hey, this is an extension, maybe, of Castlevania."
That's true.
It having a different art style makes it kind of apparent that it's not in the Castlevania universe, because dragons, demons, it's kind of the same ball game.
I mean, it could have a different art style and then be more traditionally animated or look instead of this full CG look.
Sure, but it's up to the producers and the people helming the ship. So we should still give it a chance. Maybe it'll surprise us.
I wanted to play the game before that comes out, but I don't even know if I'll have time.
I mean, the game isn't super long, right?
No, probably, but it's just because there are other games coming out, and I gotta manage all this other stuff and this podcast, and it's hard to time everything out. And then, especially when Final Fantasy XIV always puts a wrench in my plan.
Sure.
Next story on the J list is Netflix developing Resident Evil live-action series. This is once again by Josh Tolentino for Siliconera. Dragon's Dogma was just the tip of the spear, it seems, as streaming titan Netflix has dropped the first big reveals about the Resident Evil Netflix live-action series. The service has been mum on the show since rumors of its existence popped up over the last couple of years. But today, the NX on Netflix account broadcast this tweet. When the Wesker kids move to New Raccoon City, the secrets they uncover might just be the end of everything. Resident Evil, a new live-action series based on Capcom's legendary survival horror franchise, is coming to Netflix. It's little more than a picture of the pilot script for Resident Evil and that description. The episode was written by showrunner Andrew Dabb, who was also a writer for Supernatural. Canadian director Bronwyn Hughes, whose credits include The Walking Dead, Harriet the Spy, and Better Call Saul, is directing the first 2 episodes. The series comes from Constantin Film, which also helped produce Resident Evil live-action films. Follow-up tweets also noted the first season will consist of 8 one-hour episodes. The tweet also raised more questions than it answered, given its allusion to the Wesker kids and New Raccoon City. Are the Wesker kids the children of series villain Albert Wesker? Or is this a reference to the Wesker children from the backstory of the games? And that's assuming that Resident Evil Netflix will stay close to the games at all, which isn't a given considering the franchise's broad and diverse selection of adaptations, spin-offs, and alternative takes. If anything, the tone of the teaser suggests the show may lean more on a premise of young folks solving the mystery of their city rather than evoking the blend of action and horror the games are best known for. Currently in development without a firm release. Yeah.
What's your feeling on all this?
I'm not that big of a Resident Evil fan.
Right.
But I kind of think the movies were garbage.
Okay.
Well, actually, no. Okay, that's not true. The first one I thought was decent because it kind of was. The second one was okay. I went to see the third ones in theater, and at the time it was whatever. But now it's just as they went on, they just got worse. I think the animated movies are all right.
Okay.
That's about it. I'm not. Again, the only Resident Evil I've played all the way through is 5. And that's more for the co-op stuff than being a Resident Evil fan.
So you got to punch a boulder.
Well, no. Did I play through all of... I also like the light gun ones that were on Wii. Those were fun.
Dead Aim?
No, it was Darkside Chronicles and Umbrella Chronicles.
Oh, right.
But that's because I'm a House of the Dead fan. And I was like combining the two things into one.
Yeah.
Next.
Well, I mean, we don't know what it's gonna look like with the Wesker kids, so fingers crossed.
I mean, it's still in early development, and with everything going on, who knows when it'll actually have like a trailer.
And I think they mentioned I might be pulling this out of thin air, but I think they mentioned that they're intent on making it closer to the video games in comparison to what the movies were. I think that was said, or maybe it's speculation or wishful thinking on the part of fans, because I definitely would like to see it hew closer to the horror aspects and less of the action. I mean, I still want the characters to have their agency, but
yeah,
more of a horror than straight up action.
Yeah. Alright, next story on the J list is Super Mario Bros. Manga Mania will appear in English in December. This is by Jenny Lano for Silicon Era. Viz Media has a release date for its Super Mario Bros. Manga Mania volume. People will be able to pick up the English version of some of Yukio Sawada's comics on December 8th, 2020. The collection will cost $9.99, and Amazon pre-orders are already open. This collection has actually been a long time coming. Viz first announced it would release a localized collection back in March 2020. At the time, there was a December 8th, 2020 release date assigned to the Amazon product page, but it was never officially confirmed, which could have been an issue considering the pandemic delayed other books and items. Now to clarify, this is only, as Viz noted, a collection collection of some of the Super Mario Kun stories from Sawada's 55-plus volume manga series. The full run actually has arcs based on different Super Mario games. The earliest volumes, for example, cover Super Mario World, while the most recent volumes tap into the Nintendo Switch's Super Mario Odyssey for their storylines. Super Mario Bros. Manga Mania will launch in North America on December 8, 2020. Some of its other Nintendo-related books are on the way are Ask Iwata, Words of Wisdom from Nintendo's legendary CEO, and volumes of Splatoon Squid Kids comedy show. Yeah, so we talked about that a couple of podcasts ago, so now it just finally has a release date.
Yeah. Good for the Mario fans.
Yeah, I do like when things go into manga, especially things that don't necessarily have like the deepest of stories, and then they kind of give stuff a little more context. Like, I really like the Zelda. I have the Zelda Majora's Mask manga, and I really like how what they added to that. And then the Ocarina of Time one was cool too.
Yeah, I have no frame of reference because I've never read any of the Nintendo manga, so I'll just take your word for it.
What about just a manga based on a video game? That maybe adds more stuff to the story.
I have read the Kingdom Hearts manga, which I thought was good.
Yeah, I need to read that still.
It's fun enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't really add much to the story in way of the mythology or lore.
No.
But it's a fun enough read and creative.
I also like how it has a little more self-awareness to it. Well, I don't know if the first one does, but 2 definitely does.
Yeah, because you shouldn't expect a straight adaptation whenever a game goes into a manga form.
Yeah,
sometimes it can veer into the more humorous side of certain genres,
which is actually kind of nice.
Yeah,
some games take themselves way too seriously. So our last story on the J list, because this is probably the biggest J list section we've had in a while. First look at the Monster Hunter World board game coming to Kickstarter from the team behind the Dark Souls, Resident Evil, and Horizon Zero Dawn board games. This is by Charlie Hall for Polygon. Monster Hunter World is being turned into a board game by the experienced team at Steamforged Games. This cooperative multiplayer title will feature enormous new plastic models and will be priced in the $100 range. Fans should expect a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter for Monster Hunter World, the board game, to launch sometime in 2021. Steamforged Games, a British tabletop developer and publisher, has made a name for itself with a string of board games based on high-profile video game franchises. Steamforged burst onto the scene in 2016, raising more than $5.4 million for Dark Souls, the board game. Then it followed that up with Resident Evil 2, the board game, Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game, and most recently Devil May Cry, the Bloody Palace. Most importantly, none of these games aims to be a straight-up port of the original property that they're based on. While they evoke the same emotions in players, they do so while using different systems and techniques that are more appropriate to a tabletop setting. Co-founder Matt Hart, who has a background in video game development, told Polygon in a recent interview that's a very intentional choice. But the latest video game iteration of Monster Hunter isn't a linear adventure with a beginning, middle, and end. It's more like a cross between an MMO and a looter shooter, with players constantly exploring the world in search of new resources to build new gear. That created some conceptual challenges for the team at Steamforge, which is used to working with more finite experiences. Oh, there's a lot more. I don't want to go through the whole thing. There's a picture of like a Rathalos model, an Anjanath, I believe, and a little hunter figure.
All the crowd favorites.
Is Anjanath the crowd favorite? I don't know about that.
I mean, Rathalos
for sure.
sure
Rathalos
is.
for sure.
Yeah.
Anjanath is kind of annoying. But yeah, that's all for the. Check that out when it comes up on Kickstarter. Check out like the Steamforge Games website, I guess. I meant to also what I always wanted to try but never got a chance to is that Bloodborne card game that came out a while ago. That looked interesting.
Card game or board game?
It's a card game, like a card game. I don't know if there's a board involved, but it's a kind of card game that's like it's not like a collectible card game. It's like I don't know what you call those. The card games that just come in one box. The card games that just come in one box, and you don't like collect a bunch of.
I think I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? They're still.
Yeah.
Some people still technically call them board games, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got to play that one. I was always interested in it. Anyways, moving on to recommended content. We have. The content other than news from the past week that we list out with the links in the description. We have Inside Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition on YouTube. Kamen Rider Memory of Heroes 16 minutes of boss battle gameplay by Sal Romano over at Gamatsu via YouTube. A brave attempt to rank 30 years of Super Robot Wars games by Kat Bailey for US Gamer. Chrono Cross's Atmosphere masterfully frames one of the saddest JRPG characters by Nadia Oxford over at US Gamer. Yakuza's nuanced discussion of masculinity makes his treatment of women more disappointing by Sam Gresses over at Polygon. Phantasy Star Online programmers on breaking new ground and their Diablo-style isometric prototype by James Mielke over at Polygon. Watch New Zoids Wild Blast Unleashed English gameplay, Silicon Era via YouTube. And then we have Behind the Voice, Roger Craig Smith on voicing hedgehogs and superheroes by Michael Pasquariello for Kotaku. Now, I never told this. Did I ever tell you about the time I met Steve Bloom?
I think you did in passing. But remind us real quick what happened.
Oh, it was just a signing at Comic-Con. And I got him to autograph this little like anime card thing I had and got a voice recording of him.
Nice.
Nothing all that interesting. It's just like, yeah, that's the one story. Well, no, I've met other voice actors more briefly, but yeah. I'm not going to get into that.
Did you have them record your voice?
I didn't get to record their voices. No, but I got to meet them real quick.
Okay.
Tell them I appreciated their work, and they seemed very grateful for that. So that was nice. That's all.
Yeah. All right.
Imagine if you got Steve Bloom on this podcast in character.
Which character though? Do you want to have Spike Spiegel or
Guilmon, obviously,
or Wolverine? He's also
or Guilmon or Black War Greymon or
sure
or Orochimaru.
We can dream.
All right. So our first news story. We have no bad news this week. Once again. Japanese
the world
games
is healing.
Just keep on going.
Oh, real quick, I wanted to mention this. It seems that PlayStation is sending out registration links
right, I missed
for
that.
PlayStation 5 pre-orders. And I was wondering, did you get one per chance?
Yes, I did. I did get that email.
Oh, wow.
So I signed up for it, even though I'm not even sure if I'll get a PS5 at launch. I was just like, you know what? I'll sign up for it because they sent me the email. So I'll just do it anyway.
Yeah. I also got one. It's probably because I spend more or less every day on the PlayStation Store. Not that I spend money every day, but I'm always there looking at the deals. I'm always looking at...
I feel like exactly. I feel like if you're active enough, you probably got an email.
Yeah, probably. And I also badgered them about officially recognizing my country. So probably this is their way of saying, we can't do that, but we'll do this for you. And they did mention in the FAQ that these registrations are open to international audiences.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
You do have to factor in that you still have to ship it from America to wherever you're at. So
and we still don't know the price.
So read the FAQ, kids. It's very important.
Yeah. So pre-orders for the pre-order.
Basically.
Which is not... I feel like GameStop had that every new generation. Like, because I remember going to GameStop years ago, and they were like, oh yeah, we can... do you want to register for when we have PS4s in stock? And I think I did, although I didn't get a PS4 until like a year or two, like 2 years later. But
I mean,
yeah, so it's both weird and then not that weird at the same time to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Weird that we don't have price yet. So first news story is Final Fantasy XIV: The Rising 2020 seasonal event starts on August 27th, 2020. So it just started today. This is by Sato for Siliconera. The Rising is the annual event in Final Fantasy XIV that celebrates the anniversary of the game's relaunch as a Realm Reborn, and it returns for the 7th year today. The Rising is known for bringing a splash of color to Ul'dah, and this year's event is expected to be especially vibrant. Jibhen Tia's exhibition of stained glass will show memories of a pivotal moment in Eorzea's history. He'll need your help to ensure that the event proceeds without a hitch. Adventurers can start the event quest by speaking to Jibhen Tia, located in Ul'dah Steppes of Nald. The minimum level requirement is 15, as it normally is for events. Since the start of the event in 2014, The Rising has always included exclusive minions based on key characters of the game. Other items such as furnishing, orchestrion rules, and more were always included in past events. This year, the main prize is the wind-up Ardbert minion. Furnishing includes the Sultana's 7. I don't know what that is. The Rising 2020 will be available in Final Fantasy XIV starting August 27, 2020 at 12 a.m. PDT. It will end on September 14th at 7:59 a.m. PDT.
Alright. Next up, we have Etrian Mystery Dungeon will be delisted in Europe on September 30th, 2020. This is by Jenny Lada for Silicon Era. Etrian Mystery Dungeon is about to vanish from another eShop. NIS America announced it will be removed from the European storefront on September 30th, 2020. Here's NIS America's announcement, where it also reminded people digital copies are on sale until September 20th, 2020. While Atlas handled publishing duties for the Spike Chunsoft and Atlas roguelike spin-off of the series, NIS America handled it in Europe, which is strange because America, but I digress. Well, there's an embedded tweet that says, a note to our European fans, Etrian Mystery Dungeon will be removed from Nintendo eShop Europe on 30th of September. You can still pick up this title as part of the end of summer sale, so make sure you get it before the sale ends on the 20th of September. This move comes after 2 previous delistings. While Etrian Mystery Dungeon is still available in the Japanese eShop, the North American and Australian pages are gone. Atlas also closed the North American website. While digital copies are now extinct or endangered, the game did receive a physical release worldwide. In fact, the NIS America Europe online store had physical copies for sale for only £4.99 back in June 2020. It still sells copies now, though the price is currently £7.99. So, kind of weird.
It might be the beginning of the end. I'm thinking
as to why they're delisting the game.
You think it may be a port?
Maybe, but then there'd be evidence of a trademark. But
That's
I'm not
true.
seeing this here.
I was thinking it might be like the beginning of the end for the 3DS eShop, and it's just finally going to start going away, because they had that one article about it going away in Central and South America.
Yeah, but still, Europe is a much bigger market than Central America, I'd like to say. So
this is only in Europe.
So this is weird. This is very weird.
Huh. Because
Well,
if it was like
now.
everywhere, maybe. I wonder if it's gonna get delisted other places, or it was just in Europe for whatever reason.
It's already delisted in America and Australia, the article says. So.
Oh, okay.
So the only way you can get it is now while it's on sale, and after that you can still get some physical copies.
Yeah. I wonder. Maybe we'll find out more about that at some point.
Yeah.
Next story is Japan's first officially licensed video game bar opens in Tokyo. This is by Brian Ashcraft over at Kotaku. While video game bars are popular in Japan, they do operate in somewhat of a gray area. In 2018, for example, there were instances in which video game bars were shut down over copyright claims. People were even arrested. Video game bars typically let customers play games for free while charging them for drinks. Really? Man, I wish that's how it worked here. No, you still got to pay in the corridors for the or tokens at least, which cost money.
Yeah.
The Association of Copyright for Computer Software, X,
Okay.
has pointed out that not getting permission from the creators violated copyright. In 2011, ACCS called on game bars across Japan to adhere to copyright law. The new bar, Tokyo Video Gamers, which is slated to open in Akihabara this September, claims to be the first video game bar in Japan to get official consent from various game makers. The bar has the cooperation of Sega, Arc System Works, SNK, City Connection, which owns the rights to Jaleco's catalog, G-Mode, which owns the rights to Data East games, and in Japan, Tetris, Pound DP, which also owns the rights to some Data East games, and .emu SAS. Hold on.
Do you want me to take the story?
Yeah, hold on. Now that officially licensed game bar has opened in Japan, it certainly seems to remove a lot of the gray area that surrounds other establishment. It's unclear if they will also need to work with game companies and copyright holders. Tokyo Video Gamers also has officially licensed merch. They have little coasters and a cup, and there's just like images inside. You can all look at that story. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, although there's still a pandemic going on, so it's probably not the best idea to go to arcades right now. But
yeah, so
you got one arcade closing and then another one opening up, so that's good.
Yeah, so maybe revisit this idea when it's safe to go outside.
I mean, it's okay if they're building it now. Like, that's fine. If they're getting it ready now for later.
Yeah.
Next story is Yakuza Like a Dragon for PS4, Xbox One, and PC launches November 13th in the West. Xbox Series X version due out at console launch, PlayStation 5 version later. This is by Saruman for Gamatsu. Yakuza Like a Dragon will launch for PS4, Xbox One, and PC via Steam and the Microsoft Store on November 13th in the West. Publisher Sega and developer Ryoga Gotoku Studio announced. Yakuza Like a Dragon will also be available for Xbox Series X on day one of the console's release in November, as well as for PlayStation 5 at a later date. Sega also released a new trailer dubbed How Will You Rise, which shows protagonist Ichiban Kasuga alongside party members Nanba, Seiko, and Adachi as they swap between some more than 20 unique jobs available throughout the game. Ichiban envisions himself as the lead character in an RPG, and his battles take on the form of turn-based RPG battles. And there's an overview. There's a new trailer. I'm still excited for this game. I still think it's probably going to end up being my game of the year. I guess we'll see.
Okay, high hopes.
One more quick story from me, and then we'll go back to Jason.
Yes.
Pokemon lead interface designer wants your feedback. This is by Josh Tolentino for Siliconera. Do you want to give a game designer your honest feedback on what it's like to play their games? If you're a fan of the Pokemon series and happen to be on Twitter, this is your chance. Dave Gibson, a developer working on Pokemon titles, is soliciting feedback from the public regarding their frustrations with and suggestions for Pokemon games. Here's the opening of his Twitter post. Question: what UI/UX mistakes drive you absolutely mad in Pokemon games? I want to ship the next game with a top-end experience, and your feedback is invaluable. Gibson works at Tokyo-based Creature Inc. as a lead user interface/user experience UI/UX designer. Creature Inc. is one of the three businesses alongside Nintendo and Game Freak that form the Pokemon Company. Originally founded as Ape Inc. Incorporated, I don't know why I keep saying Inc. in 1989, Creature developed the original Mother game for the NES. Ape Incorporated was disbanded and refounded as Creature Incorporated to co-develop and assist on a variety of titles, including the Pokemon trading card game and Super Smash Bros. Creature Incorporated also led development on Detective Pikachu for the 3DS. UI/UX developments are important since they're the primary way most players interact with the games. UI/UX covers a variety of design disciplines but manifests primarily in things like menu design, visual cues, and in a game's approach to displaying information for a player. Thus, Pokemon players should direct their complaints about the UI in the series to Gibson. While the thread is active, a cursory skim of the thread reveals that many Pokemon Sword and Shield players would like for touchscreen controls to be enabled for menus when playing on the Switch in handheld mode. Others suggested improvements to Pokemon sorting, storage, and connecting with friends online. Still others suggested taking a cue from series like Shin Megami Tensei and manifesting their UI within the world, improving the sense of immersion. It should be pointed out that Gibson was soliciting feedback in general, rather than for any specific title, announced or unannounced, so it's best not to take this as a hint of anything. Sinnoh confirmed. Game developers are always looking to hear from their audiences, and social media is a good way to gather a large quantity of responses. Okay.
Are you going to be adding your voice to that?
I don't really have that many problems with the UI that I can think of. I haven't played Pokemon in a while, though. I do think, I'm sure online and certain specific things could be improved.
Well, I think the designer is very brave to open up his mentions on Twitter.
Yeah, like for sure. This. No, yeah, I commend him for that. Oh my god, I couldn't even imagine.
Especially after that last game, but okay. Next up, we have Nintendo Dream teases new Nintendo Switch game everyone will enjoy, quote unquote. This is by Alistair Wong for Silicon Era. The October issue of Japanese magazine Nintendo Dream released earlier this week on August 21st, and the latest issue hints at a feature next issue on a new game coming to Nintendo Switch that, quote unquote, everyone will enjoy. The next issue of Nintendo Dream is set to release on September 19th, 2020. Apart from this small tease that hints towards the sort of audience the new game might be geared towards, not much else is known regarding the new game. It should also be noted that the way the term was worded in Japanese could be singular or plural. That said, there are some other interesting Nintendo related dates in September that might be related to the unrevealed games. So they're speculating it might be the Mario series 35th anniversary on September 13th, and on September 16th you have the Nintendo briefing with the management team. So somewhere around that would probably be the best date to drop something. But who knows what actually is happening.
You mean a direct or a game?
This is a tease of a new game. So the magazine Nintendo Dream says in the next issue they will feature a hint at what's coming next to the Nintendo Switch, and that would be a game that everyone will enjoy. So
I mean, I don't think that's possible. There's no game that everyone enjoys.
Mario.
Not everyone likes Mario, though.
Who doesn't like Mario?
There are people out there that... There are people out there.
I don't believe it. I do not believe it.
Those people don't exist.
No, they don't exist.
Next story is about the plumber's longtime rival. Ninjala welcomes its first collaboration with Sonic the Hedgehog in Season 2. This is by Kite Stenbuck for Siliconera. Gung Ho has announced that Ninjala will have a collaboration with Sonic the Hedgehog. This is the first in-game collaboration for the popular free-to-play action game that will be implemented in the upcoming Season 2. This announcement was made at the 8th Developer Diary, which was just recently published on the Play Ninjala channel. Ninjala's first season is ending very soon and will be replaced with Season 2, which begins on August 20... Oh, it must have just began yesterday. When Ninjala moves to a new season, it will bring a new unique theme while also adding more new stages, weapons, and costumes. Season 2 will add a new board weapon class that comes with brand new attack motions and available in 4 different types. One of the new gum weapons introduced in the video is the surfboard-like Home Run Surfer, which has a special called Overpowering Wave that gives the user immunity to enemy gumshoots while riding the surfboard. Developer Diary number 8 also revealed that the next episode for Ninjala's cartoon anime will air in early September and will give the spotlight to Jane's backstory. More details on the collaboration between Ninjala and Sonic the Hedgehog will be revealed at a later date.
Alright.
A surfboard weapon?
I mean, anything's possible, man.
This is great.
I
love how it just leans into the
news?
ridiculousness.
Are you happy with this news? Because you last episode said that...
I mean, if I could play Ninjala more, I have no opinion on it either way because I haven't downloaded the update for Season 2 yet.
No, but last episode you mentioned that there was just one stage and that was kind of the nitpick. Like a lack of variety in what you can do in the game.
What?
So I'm guessing this... No, last episode you mentioned that Ninjala had just one stage, one game mode, and not that many weapons. So having this update...
No, I didn't say it didn't. I never said it had one. It has more than one game mode.
Mm-hmm.
I never said it had only one. It has more than one.
Okay. Well, then
and it has
this update
a variety of
regardless.
weapons.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, it'll be
that's
interesting.
What I'm getting at. That this update will breathe new life into it.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know how many people are paying attention to Ninjala, though. With Fall Guys has taken the world by storm.
We've seen the download numbers. We've seen the download numbers.
Yeah, but
let's see. We have Bloomberg says new.
I definitely wish Ninjala was a more popular game to play on Twitch.
Okay. Bloomberg says new Switch model due out in 2021. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Nintendo plans to release a new Switch model in 2021, according to a Bloomberg report, citing people familiar with the matter. While the specifications have yet to be finalized, Nintendo reportedly considered features such as improved processing power and 4K resolution graphics for the new model. The people said that the new games, both first-party and third-party, aimed at both casual and hardcore audiences, are planned for release to complement the new model. And since Nintendo is reportedly focused on games launching in 2021, the release schedule for 2020 is comparatively modest. Okay. News of the new model was first reported by the Taiwan newspaper United Daily News. The report said that the new Switch model will offer improved interactivity and better image quality. A Nintendo spokesperson declined to comment when contacted by Bloomberg. Okay, Errol, what do you make of this? Do you think this is likely?
I mean,
do you think we're just...
It's been hypothesized. It's been thought that a new Switch would be on the way eventually, but
yeah,
I don't know if a Switch is going to have 4K support.
I doubt it. I think they can barely hit 1080p with the current Switch. I think 1080p is the next logical step if you're still thinking about affordability. Because 4K is not cheap. And I don't know how you can output 4K in such a small form factor and it having be still affordable to the mass public. So I don't think 4K is likely.
Yeah, but a new Switch model with like better battery... Well, we already have one with slightly better battery life, but with better... I don't know, better Joy-Cons?
Definitely better Joy-Cons. Maybe a smaller bezel. Bluetooth is something people have been begging Nintendo for, so...
What I don't understand, people are still making an argument for like, oh, why isn't Netflix on Switch yet? And I'm like... maybe they don't feel a need to have... Or somebody was making the argument for like, why can't I use a... Oh, I forgot who it was, but somebody was saying like... Yeah, why can't we use a browser on Switch? I'm like, does anybody really use a browser on any consoles?
The thing is, people just want ease of use, and you'd be surprised that people are using their browsers on consoles.
I just
not
don't
a lot,
see the point of using a browser on consoles.
I think having Switch on, Netflix on Switch makes sense. It's still not... Come again? Okay, I think we lost Errol. Anyway, then we'll continue with the next story and wait for him to drop back in. This, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm here.
is
I'm still
the
here.
reality.
Can you hear me?
He's here. Okay. Yeah, I can hear. Okay, I'll just head on to the next story.
Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties right now because... Hang on.
Okay. Next story. Next Trails game to feature battle system with action elements, largely different cast of characters. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. The next entry in the Trails series following the Legend of Heroes Hajimari no Kiseki will feature a battle system with action elements and a largely different cast of characters. Falcon President Toshihiro Kondo said in the latest issue of Weekly Famitsu. And okay, I'll just quickly read out the tidbits. The next game is not Hajimari 2. Hajimari probably ends within itself. Please don't worry. Next, places we haven't shown before will appear. Next, we have information about new places, organizations, and characters actually appear in Hajimari no Kiseki. I recommend you play through the main story, Reverie Corridor, and extra scenarios. And action time battles are no longer. Hajimari no Kiseki is its swan song. So this is the last time you'll have more quote-unquote traditional RPG battles. Next up, we have there are command battles with action elements and greater real-time nature without an action time bar. So I think you can compare it to Final Fantasy VII Remake or Final Fantasy 15 or maybe Ys 8 even. This is a type of battle never before seen, he says. And he goes on to say the cast of characters is largely different. The important characters that have appeared thus far are present, but the characters that lead the story are new. There are hints all throughout Hajimari no Kiseki. So, something to look forward to as the game drops on August 27th in Japan. Okay, next one's all you.
Okay, next story is Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythmic Adventure Pack announced for Switch. 2 RPGs in 1. This is from Sal Romano over at Gamatsu. Bandai Namco has announced Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythmic Adventure Pack for Switch. It will launch via the Nintendo eShop this winter worldwide. In Japan, it is titled Taiko no Tatsujin Dokodon RPG Pack and will also have a physical edition. Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythmic Adventure Pack is a collection including high-definition remasters of the 3DS RPGs Taiko no Tatsujin Dantokatsu no Jiku Daiboken and Taiko no Tatsujin Dokodon Mystery Adventure, respectively titled Rhythmic Adventure 1 and Rhythmic Adventure 2 for the West. There's an overview here. I'm not going to go over because there's a lot of info. But they're rhythm RPGs. It's fun time. We're getting more Taiko in the West. That's always good news.
Okay.
Have you ever played Taiko?
No, I have not. I want
you
to.
You should. It's a fun time, and there are a lot of anime songs.
I know. The one currently on Switch has the One Piece opening, and the one coming to Switch has the Demon Slayer opening. So, fun times.
And it has the Yokai Watch ending.
Okay, I wouldn't know because I never played Yokai Watch.
Yeah, it has the Yokai Watch ending. Well, the anime ending.
Okay.
Next story is Puyo Puyo Champions update to add spectator mode, secret characters, and more on August 26th for Switch, in September for other platforms. A major update for the competitive puzzle action game. Sega will release a major update for Switch version of Puyo Puyo Champions on August 26th, followed by PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC in September, which adds a spectator mode, new playable characters, and more, the company announced. I played Puyo Puyo Champions a bunch, and I liked what I played of it, even though I'm terrible at Puyo Puyo. It has a spectator mode added, color adjustment functionality. By switching filter to on, you can switch between 4 color calibration patterns: trichromatism, protanopia, deuteranopia, and tritanopia, as well as adjust color strength. Game speed option added to game settings. With 1.0, 0.7, and 0.5. Added gummy to Puyo types. So it's just like the different types of I think it's just appearance. Field option added to pre-match settings. Select which field to use when playing against the CPU in solo. Detailed match information added to results screen. Autoplay function added. Rafisol and Papirisu added as secret characters. Other staff credits updated as subtle balance adjustments. So that's neat.
Yeah.
It's nice that it's still getting updates.
Okay, next up we have Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 announced for PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. This is also by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Sega has announced Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. It will launch both physically and digitally for Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch on December 8th, PlayStation 5 this holiday, and PC via Steam in early 2021. You can click on the article for full details and the launch trailer, the announcement trailer. So give that a read. Alright, next up we have you.
Monster Rancher 2 for Switch, iOS, and Android launches September 17th in Japan. This is once again from Sal Romano over at Gamatsu. Monster Rancher 2 will launch for Switch via the Nintendo eShop, iOS via the App Store, and Android via Google Play on September 17th in Japan for 2,820 yen. So about $28, like about $30. Koei Tecmo announced. That's it. That was the story. Still,
are you hoping?
Still no.
Are you hoping it?
Yeah, still no news about a possible localization. I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm very much hoping.
Thanks.
Well, they haven't even localized or re-localized the first one yet.
Yeah, maybe they're waiting to make a double pack for Western release.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Both at once. That would be nice. Especially if there was a physical release. Oh my god.
I think it's more than likely because with remastered releases of old RPGs, Southeast Asia or Asia in general gets a lot of the physical editions. True. Like the Final Fantasy pack.
Yeah, we don't even know if Monster Rancher, these parts are releasing outside of Japan at all yet.
That's true. So maybe if it gets an English language track, it'll only be for Southeast Asia. Like
what I don't get is
Malaysia or something like that.
When these games get re-releases and they already have an English version, but then they don't get an English re-release, I'm like, why? You have have it right there. The translation exists.
It's probably because they don't have someone who can publish the game.
Maybe.
It still costs money to bring out games in different regions. So
yeah,
I'm guessing it's probably
it's just
a question of them not being
It's just an interesting thing to me because like Dragon Quest Monsters. I mean, also depending on how old the game is, you might want to update the translation too.
Sure, but Dragon Quest Monsters has the mighty Square Enix backing it. Monster Rancher has...
Yeah, but that hasn't been ported either. I mean, that's been ported. It hasn't been released in the West either. Localized.
I'm just saying, Dragon Quest has the power of Square Enix to bring games to the West. Monster Rancher doesn't. So
they have the power of Koei Tecmo.
It's a numbers game, and if the numbers don't add up, you don't get these games in the West.
I hope we get
next up, we have Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory launches November 11th in Japan, November 13th in the West. This is also by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory will launch for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch on November 11th in Japan and November 13th in the West for 7,480 yen, or about $59.99 US. Publisher Square Enix announced. The PlayStation 4 and Switch versions will be available both physically and digitally, and I might add that the Switch cover is far superior because you have more of the artwork and it's not as cropped as the PlayStation 4 version. Digital pre-orders are available now via the Microsoft Store and Nintendo eShop, and soon via the PlayStation Store. Users who purchase the game via the PlayStation Store by December 31st will receive a Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory PlayStation 4 theme. You can click on article for full details and the trailer. And if you watch the trailer, you can see a pretty heavy hint at the Master of Masters playing a very large part in this narrative. And I've seen some comments of this game probably explaining why Kairi lost some of her memory in Kingdom Hearts 3. So it might be worth it. Who knows? Who knows with Kingdom Hearts and with
their weird games? Oh wait, this is important to the story, even though this is a random rhythm game.
No, well, that's the thing with Kingdom Hearts games. Everyone, probably in the West, it might not be a thing in Asia, but everyone in the West always deems games not numbered to be spin-offs. Like, oh no, it's not important to the plot. It's a spin-off. It's just an offshoot. You don't have to pay attention to it. Just play 1, 2, and 3. And Nomura's like, no, it's all important. I'm not being coy here. Everything's literally important. Play everything. We want you to play everything. So,
or at least watch the cutscenes, the related cutscenes.
I mean, sure. Or you can just buy the all-in-one edition, which is on sale now on PlayStation.
With the movies and stuff, yeah.
The all-in-one edition that does not have everything in it. Like, why do this? Why? Next up, we have Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend announced for Switch, also by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Square Enix has announced Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend for Switch. It will launch on December 15th worldwide. In Japan, it is titled Saga Collection. Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend includes ports of the Final Fantasy Legend Makai Toishi Saga in Japan, Final Fantasy Legend 2, Saga 2 Hiho Densetsu, and Final Fantasy Legend 3 Saga 3 Jiku no Hasha. In Japan, Square Enix will also release a Square Enix eStore exclusive Saga 30th Anniversary box for 14,500 yen, which includes a download code for the collection, the Saga series novel, Saga Reimagining Stories, the music CD, Saga 1, 2, and 3 piano trio arrangement tracks, and the Saga series medal set. There's an overview if you click on the link, and a trailer. I also saw something neat. If you put your Switch in, well, if you hold it, when you hold it, it's kind of in a landscape mode, but if you hold it in a portrait mode, it kind of turns into a virtual Game Boy. So it's kind of a neat Easter egg to play the game like that. But I don't know if it's in the Western release, because I didn't see it in the Western trailer announcement, but I did see it in the Japanese trailer announcement.
Some people were speculating that maybe this was originally going to be a mobile game that they decided to put also on Switch, and that's why it has that.
Oh, it's still coming to mobile. Just you wait. Okay. It's still coming to mobile.
What is your excitement level for this? If any. I mean, I like that game. I do like that Game Boy games, some Game Boy games in general, are being ported, especially Game Boy RPGs. I've never played the Saga games or Final Fantasy Legend or anything, but they look fun enough.
It's good for preservation purposes.
I do wish
you still have like.
I do wish they had like a color mode, like as if they were on Game Boy Color.
Yeah, no, that's gonna probably be a $10 DLC. Square Enix.
Oh no!
Yeah. Let's not give them any ideas.
But yeah, no, I'm happy more Game Boy games coming to Switch, since Game Boy on Virtual Console is not a thing, or on Nintendo Online, whatever it's called.
Maybe one day. Fingers crossed.
Don't get your hopes up. There was. Yeah. I think Jeff Grubb was hinting at Super Mario RPG coming to Super Nintendo Online, but
he said Friday. He's feeling good about Friday, which is tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for tomorrow. Not that he's confirming anything.
He can't confirm or deny
firmly,
anything, but he has a good feeling about Friday for some reason.
You might want to keep your eyes out for Friday.
All right. So next story is Monster Hunter World Iceborne Developer Diary Final will be on August 28th, 2020. So that's when this episode is out. This is by Kazuma Hashimoto for Silicon Era. The Monster Hunter World Iceborne Developer Diary Final will take place on August 28th, 2020. This update will include the details of the 5th Developer Diary update. Of the 5th Developer Diary. This includes information on the latest monster that will be added to Iceborne. You will be able to watch the Developer Diary final at 21 o'clock JST, 8 o'clock EDT. AM or P? I don't know. Little information was given outside when fans and players will be able to watch the Developer Diary final. You can watch the latest Developer Diary through the official Capcom YouTube channel, and even set a reminder so you won't miss out on the broadcast once it goes live. Similar to other Developer Diaries, the Monster Hunter World Iceborne Developer Diary final will be expanding on Master's rank, more layered armor, and seasonal events if the information lines up with what was announced through Iceborne's roadmap. Other updates included the inclusion of returning monsters, new seasonal events, and layered armors. Monsters that have been added to Monster Hunter World Iceborne through the free title updates include the legendary Elytrion, the Furious Rajang, and Raging Brachydios. Monster Hunter World Iceborne is also currently celebrating its 1-year anniversary with select event reruns. You can check out the schedule on that article. So that's cool. We don't know what the new monster is, but we have all the big Monster Hunter fans are speculating different things.
Yeah.
Will we get Gongmasios? Who knows? If you don't know who Gongmasios is, he's like the big monster of the Monster Hunter series. Like the final,
All right.
I believe the final boss of a number of Monster Hunter games.
Only time will tell.
Yeah, we'll know tomorrow or today or whatever. Next story.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. Next story. Bubble Bobble 4 Friends for PS4 launches November 19th in Japan alongside Switch update. This is by Sarumato for Gamatsu. Bubble Bobble 4 Friends, The Baron is Back will launch for PS4 on November 19th in Japan for 5,280 yen, publisher Taito announced. On the same day, the Switch version of Bubble Bobble 4 Friends will receive a free update that adds the new area, 100 new stages, and online ranking functionality added to the PS4 version. In the West, the PS4 version and Switch update are also due out in November, but a specific date has yet to be announced. I'm expecting probably the same date. Or maybe just a little later. And there's a new trailer for the PS4 version. So, neat. I will have my thoughts on that when it comes out. Or after it comes out. Next, in retro game news, Space Invaders Forever announced for PS4 and Switch. This is an update on the story, I believe, from our very first episode back in January.
Yeah.
Includes Space Invaders Extreme, Gigamax, SE, and Arkanoid vs. Space Invaders. This is, once again, from Sal Romano over at Komatsu. Publisher Ion Games and developer Taito have announced Space Invaders Forever for PS4 and Switch, a collection that includes Space Invaders Extreme, Space Invaders Gigamax 4 XE, and Arkanoid vs. Space Invaders. It will launch both physically and digitally in North America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand in 2020. And there's an overview about it, and we've gone over this game a bunch of times before.
Yeah.
Now we just have or what was the last one? No, we don't have a date yet. So what was the last time we talked about it? What was it?
A few weeks ago, I'd like to say.
It was like confirmed. I know Callie was on one of the times we talked about it.
Yeah.
But I forgot what the update was. I don't know. Anyways, it's coming. It's coming sometime later this year. Maybe December. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Next up, we have Koch Media to open Tokyo and Hong Kong offices in 2020. Signs Gungrave Gore. Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Like, honestly, at some point he's going to ask us to pay him royalties for mentioning his name so much. Moving on. Koch Media will open 2 fully owned publishing offices based in Tokyo and Hong Kong before the end of 2020, the company announced. Well, the way 2020 is going, God bless you and good luck with that. The Tokyo subsidiary will be fully operational within the next 6 weeks and oversee the group's activities in the Japanese market. While the Hong Kong subsidiary will open in Q4 2020 and oversee South Korea, Southeast Asia, and China operations. Both offices will offer local publishing services to Koch Media's international partners, as well as act as primary contact for local publishers and developers to expand the group's presence in Japan, China, and Southeast Asia. Okay, click on the article if you want to know more. Yay, I guess. Like, this is a good thing, I think. I'm not really all that familiar with Koch Media, so
they just own a lot of things.
Yeah, they own a lot.
Gungrave, I like that Gungrave. So that means the Gungrave game will be local. I think it already was planned on being localized.
Well, it's more than likely.
Yeah, that Gungrave game, is that the VR? Because there was like the VR one, and then there's another one they're working on that isn't VR exclusive that looks really good. And I get all of those
this is the
confused.
VR one. Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to keep track of all the different games these days.
Last news story for today is Scarlet Nexus second trailer, Kasane, Hanabi, Nagi, and Fubuki detailed.
Bless you.
Once again, Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Bandai Namco debuted the second official trailer and new information for Brainpunk action RPG Scarlet Nexus during the Gamescom 2020 opening night live stream pre-show. Get the details below. So if you click on the article, you'll see information on the characters mentioned and also the new trailer. You saw it. What did you think of this new look at Scarlet Nexus?
It's cool. I didn't realize there would be more than one playable character. It seems like, and they have different power sets, so that's also neat.
I'm thinking maybe it's related to character class. Like, you can create a character, and depending on what class you choose, that changes the appearance or what kind of powers you employ.
So you don't think, and then those characters maybe like train you in whatever thing you choose?
Probably.
That'd be interesting.
I mean,
because I thought you just play as that one guy, because that's what the demos have shown. Or now you play as multiple characters. Yeah.
Or like that's just the name of the main character, and how he looks is up to you. Kind of like what they did with Code Vein.
Or
but I guess. I guess we'll see once the game drops. Yeah. But it looks promising. It looks nice.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the graphics.
Another thing, I think it would be cool if this game had like multiplayer. Although I don't think it does, but it would be cool with all the different power sets. It would be really cool if it did.
I wouldn't discount it, because this is made by some of the Tales team and some of the Code Vein team, and Code Vein had multiplayer. So
and Tales has kind of multiplayer sometimes. Has co-op kind of sometimes.
Has couch multiplayer. So
yeah.
I think it'd be a shame for not utilizing that knowledge in this game. Yeah.
Yeah, we're and we still don't know the release date for that, right?
No, but it's probably Q1
next year. Yeah, sometime next year
for next gen. So maybe
launch
March. Window. Yeah, but we'll see.
Okay.
Next up, we have our main topic.
Our main topic.
Okay. So we.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go
ahead. You go.
Oh. Okay. No. So I spoke to Erroll before we started recording, and we were kind of.
I don't remember that.
Details.
No, I'm just kidding.
And we settled on a very interesting question. Which American superhero would you like to see have a game by a Japanese developer? And I'll give the floor to my colleague. So you go first.
I just thought of this right now because I was trying to think this whole podcast. Spider-Man, and it would be the Toei Spider-Man, the one who has a giant robot that's a leopard for some reason.
Yeah. Don't think too hard about it.
That would be nice. I don't know.
That could be neat.
Maybe by by Platinum.
Platinum would be cool.
Because I already have experience with Wonderful 101 and.
Okay, I'm gonna cheat a little. I kind of want an Avengers game, but by different developer. Kind of
an Avengers game by Japanese Square Enix.
No, not necessarily by Japanese Square Enix, but I played the beta these past couple of weekends, the Avengers beta, and what struck me was how uneventful the combat felt. It nothing felt like it had proper weight or like it was deliberate enough.
Yeah.
And I kind of want that tight combat action from Platinum Games or From Software. But I was kind of leaning more towards CyberConnect 2. Because we've all seen the visuals for the Avengers game, and it's kind of like it looks pretty, it looks okay, but it lacks
not great.
A certain oomph.
Yeah,
and CyberConnect 2 is kind of, say what you will about the gameplay, but the way they marry visuals with like button mash and action, it can sometimes get very intense. Like the Madara versus Guy Sensei battle from Ultimate Ninja 4 is probably my favorite visual. Yeah, my favorite visual highlight of this generation. Like,
yeah,
I cannot get past how hype that was, how cool that looked, how intense that was, and nothing I played in those betas came even close to that.
Yeah, and when you think of like Avengers, especially in a post Endgame world, you think of a lot of flashier.
Not necessarily flashy, but
visually striking. More.
Yeah, visually striking, definitely. Let's see, what else can I think of? I think of my DC heroes. Who do I want?
What about? No. What about on the side of Marvel? Have you ever heard of Marvel Disc Wars?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
The anime where all of the heroes and villains get trapped in these like Beyblade looking things, and they're partnered up with kids, and the kids have to like throw the disc on the ground to summon them.
It kind of feels like Marvel went to Japan and they said, okay, we want to market with a toy company, and whoever gets the license also gets to make an anime, but it has to be about the toys.
Because that would be like because if we got a game like that, it would just be like Marvel Pokemon essentially.
Basically,
and that'd be hilarious.
It would probably look like what was the game? The Beyblade game from Way Forward?
Oh, Bakugan game.
Oh, the Bakugan game. Yeah, exactly.
Although it would probably look a little better than that. Give them a little more.
Yeah. Let me see.
DC.
I'd say the Flash or Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, the Flash would be interesting.
A good fit with Platinum games. Like think of like the intensity of Metal Gear Revengeance, and
oh my god,
having that be the Flash.
Oh my god, and the over the topness of Metal Gear Revengeance, and have it be the Flash.
Yeah,
right?
Or Green Lantern. Like Green Lantern has limitless powers. His imagination is his only limit, and just have a developer go loose with that. Have them create whatever construct they can imagine.
What if they made a Bat manga video game based on the Bat manga?
Yeah, Batman. I kind of want to put Batman on a bench because
he has enough.
As good as the Arkham games have been, and the Lego games have been, we've seen enough of Batman. Let him rest. Maybe a Red Hood game.
You know what's interesting is that I feel like Marvel's. I feel like Marvel was more open to doing anime stuff than DC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, DC did Batman Ninja, but Marvel did that whole line. They did the X-Men, Wolverine, Blade, and what was the other one they did? Oh, Iron Man.
Well, they did Iron Man.
Yeah.
Avengers, like Black Widow.
Yeah, they did an Avengers one a little more recently.
There are two sets of Wolverine, or one Wolverine.
No, there's
one
Wolverine and one X-Men, and it really annoys me because Steve Bloom is Wolverine. Steve Bloom is Wolverine in the X-Men one, but he's not
Milo
Wolverine.
Ventimiglia is the one in the Wolverine one.
But Steve Bloom is in that one as a different character, and that really annoys me.
I mean, if that annoys you, imagine what it might feel like for Steve Bloom. Like I have this weird deja vu, but it's a job. I'll just do it. Let's see. I think who does co-op well in Japan? Who does co-op well in Japan?
Nobody.
Because I feel like the Fantastic Four would be great for co-op. Like be it couch co-op or online co-op.
What if you did
who could do that convincingly?
What if you did for a co-op game? You did like a Marvel Zombies game.
Possible, like superpowered zombies being your enemies.
That'd be terrifying.
Or you be the zombies and.
Or Capcom get on that.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much potential.
Yeah, I feel like Capcom could do that because they have experience with at least decent co-op. They have experience with zombie stuff. You know, there you go. I haven't read Marvel Zombies because the concept is kind of a little too scary for me. I'm like, okay, not only are they zombies, but now they have superpowers, so you're screwed.
I wouldn't chalk it up to being scary. I'd chalk it up to being ridiculous, because you often see the heroes pitted. No, not that disturbing. I mean, I've seen The Walking Dead, so nothing phases me at this point anymore. But yeah, what else can I think of? Like, I want a Superman game, but I'm not convinced the Japanese developers can hit the nuances.
So my friend had a
Superman's
neat idea.
Story.
So he said, what if you made a Wonder Woman game? And I guess apparently Wonder Woman can fly sometimes. I thought she only uses the invisible plane or whatever. But I guess
it depends.
Yeah.
It really depends.
He was saying, if you have a superhero that flies, why don't you make the flying mechanic work a little more like Gravity Rush? And I was like, that'd be interesting. Yeah,
because if you reason, or if you
because there's more of a way to control the speed. As,
Wonder Woman can fly, kind of, but it's not like Superman or Green Lantern or Hawkman. It's more like she floats and manipulates gravity like that. But you don't even have to have Wonder Woman do that, because I think
it was just his idea for a Wonder Woman thing. He was just saying that, like, well, more people should look to Gravity Rush for inspiration when they're doing flying mechanics, since it's like a different take that isn't just a generic
true,
fly,
but I think it can
fly. You know.
Yeah, but I also think it can quickly get frustrating, because
that's true.
The thing with Gravity Rush is you're also fighting the camera and the placement of the character. And
no, but he's not saying it needs to be exactly like Gravity Rush. Just look at it for
I get it. I get it.
It's a little different.
What else? What about an X-Men RPG? Because
we tried that.
Fit the mold.
Because the Western developers tried that once and it didn't work, so now we have to.
No, not like an action RPG, like maybe a turn-based or a strategy RPG, because the X-Men characters are more or less RPG archetypes.
Yeah,
like you have the white mage, you have the paladin, you have the ranged character, you have the up close character,
the rogue.
I can see it happening. Yeah. I mean, you can. I mean, you can come up with something better, I'm sure. But man, just think about it. And if this is cheating a bit, but My Hero Academia, I want CyberConnect 2 to do it. That's no slight against the current developers, but I think the story that the show is capable of is underserved by it just being a beat 'em up arena brawler.
Wouldn't CyberConnect 2 just make it the same thing with their Ultimate Ninja Storm experience?
I mean, yes. What they did with Ultimate Ninja Storm is so good. It might not be the deepest fighting game, but the way they can recreate the story within the game's world, within the game's visuals, that's so appealing, and I don't think they get enough credit for doing that, and I'd like to see more of that. It could fit well for any Western superhero too, for that matter, like an X-Men or an Avengers event type comic being adapted into a video game form. Like, think of Ashura's Wrath and how crazy they got with that game, and think of Infinity War or what else, like a Secret War.
Oh my god,
thing.
Dude. Black Winter. I don't know.
Exactly. Like they can go really crazy with that. Ah man. Maybe one day. Who knows?
Look, if we did a Japanese X-Men game, just make sure to put the song from the Japanese opening of the 90s X-Men cartoon, because oh my god.
I think that would be more of an Easter egg than a straight up
that's what I'm saying.
inclusion. Yeah.
Just put it somewhere.
Man. Yeah. I'm thinking Wonderful 101 is such a good template for having multiple heroes on screen. Like,
Wonderful 101 could also work as an Ant-Man game.
Exactly. That'd be great. Like, or a Pikmin game. I mean, it'd be less action focused, but you'd still have the whimsical nature of being microscopic, but maybe not the terrifying nature of being microscopic. Yeah.
I don't have any other ideas for that. For this topic, and we're time's kind of we're running.
Well, we're not running short on time.
We're not running short on time, but I'm trying to keep this podcast to around 90 minutes now.
Yeah, I think we've said enough.
Yeah.
If you have any suggestions for a superhero game made by a Japanese developer, let us know, and maybe we'll discuss it next time.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. This has been Erroll. This has been Jason, and we'll see you guys next time.
Stay safe, wear a mask, and matane.
Matane.